Welcome back, everyone, to the BGF Podcast, episode 18. I'm your host, Gianluca, alongside of
Brandon.
And today we got our first weekly recap of the season. Brandon, how was your football week?
Amazing. It was finally great to watch some football.
It was amazing.
Get to see that red zone, got to see Scott Hansen again.
7 hours, baby.
Even though he was talking to us about CJ Hawkinson, and it's just week one, so he'll get back into it.
Hey, it's normal. I mean, week one, people are out of the game. They forget how to speak. It is what it is. But anyways, screw all that. Let's get right into this week one preview, baby. Kansas City Chiefs. Sorry, review. See, I'm pulling a Scott here. Week one review. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Detroit Lions was your Thursday night football game. What did you think about that one?
I think it was a very good start to the NFL season. For the Thursday night game, we got a very good matchup.
Yeah.
Went down to the wire. I think KC's in problems. The wide receiver core didn't look too great. The only one was Rashee Rice that looked decent, and it was just drops all over the place. Mahomes looked like pretty decent.
Yeah.
Not pretty decent. He looked very good. Just his receiving core was not helping him out at all. The way he was evading the pressure, like Hutchinson, was really good for Detroit.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that Aiden Hutchinson was pressuring him all night. Mm-hmm. That kid is a stud. Obviously, KC was without Kelsey, but wow, like you said, they have some serious issues. If Kelsey's out long term,
it's gonna be problems.
This team's in trouble. I mean, he was hitting Kadarius Toney wide open. The guy was just dropping balls. I think he had something with the lowest PFF grade
of all time.
At wide receiver, which is wild.
That's crazy.
But no, it's just quick things about Detroit. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a stud.
Mm-hmm. Really
this guy is legit. Literally slot, man. He's playing out wide. He can do everything, this man. Jahmyr Gibbs, too, when he was on the field, looked really, really good. Also, really like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Feel like he had a solid game. The only thing about Detroit defense for me is I want to see them come up against a better receiving core. Like some team who can actually catch the football. Because Mahomes had open looks. Just they were dropping it. So the defense looked, in my opinion, looked better than what they are. But no, either way, very, very solid D-line with Aiden Hutchinson and Chauncey in the backfield looks really, really good.
Even Brian Browns was very good. I know he had the pick six, so it's like an easy thing to say, but even throughout the game, he looked pretty good. And also, now that KC's going to be playing Jacksonville in week 2, I wonder how that game's going to go.
It's a must-win for them. Starting 1-2
they're still favored. They're favored against Jacksonville at 2.5 right now. So,
I mean, we'll get into that Jags game, but the Jags looked really, really good.
Yeah, they did. Just the Colts kind of made it close, but Jacksonville was still able to pull it off.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, anyways, in this game, when we were doing the the preview, sorry, I believe we both picked KC.
Yeah, we both got it wrong, so 0-1 to start it off.
0-1 to start her off, baby. Anyways, let's move on to the Sunday game slate. So first one I got here, Panthers at Falcons. Falcons beating the Panthers 24-10. I believe we both had Falcons there.
Yeah, we did.
Both got that one right, covering it by 14. And what did you think about this one?
I thought the Panthers, rookie quarterback, exactly what I thought. I thought their offense wasn't going to be too great, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
Bryce Young was like running for his life most of the game. Felt like they had the ball a lot, though. They were able to keep the ball, just they weren't able to do much with it. And Miles Sanders had a pretty decent
showing.
He had a lot of the ball. And Chuba Hubbard had like 36% usage, so that was not bad. And what did you think of?
No, honestly, the thing with the Panthers' offense is it was very lackluster. Minus Miles Sanders, Bryce Young had a few instances where he shined. Like I saw a few drives where he looked really, really good. But like you said, that O-line was not giving him any favors, and I mean
the receiving core was not good.
Receiving core wasn't great either. Adam Thielen was a complete ghost. Like I don't even know if he played, to be honest. But on Panthers defense, on the other hand, Brian Burns was in there every play.
Especially the first half, I found he was very good.
He was pressuring Desmond Ridder. But then on the Falcons side of things, the one takeaway I have from this offense is Bijan Robinson is legit. Mm-hmm. They have legit weapons. Just Artie Smith is going to screw all you fantasy users.
It's actually annoying. 2 years in a row that it's like this.
Except for Bijan. I think Bijan's going to get the usage he should. Minus inside the goal line for whatever reason. It's Tyler Algier.
But he's gonna get the work, but it's gonna be like not the full workload again.
Yeah.
For me, it's Drake London. How is this guy getting one target and not one reception? Disgusting. Kyle Pitts, what do you got? Two targets?
I think he got 2 catches, Kyle Pitts, but it came in the fourth quarter. Or
Disgusting.
second half. I don't understand that one.
Desmond Ridder had 18 pass attempts, not completions, 18 pass attempts. The lowest this week. Disgusting. How you gonna pass the ball 18 times? In 2023.
I can't tell you. I mean, they won the game, so I guess it worked.
Well, they're not gonna be playing the Panthers next week. But I hope the Packers beat their ass and give them
a little wake-up call. Yeah, no, I hear
Next
you.
week they're gonna have to throw more than 18 times.
I think they will. To beat the Packers, that defense is pretty solid. So you gotta spread the ball out and get it out that way. But anyways, move on here. We got Ravens 25-9 over the Texans. We both predicted the Ravens. Yeah. So I mean, kind of what we expected from the Texans side of thing. They kept it sort of competitive in the first half, and then the second half was where they just sort of lost it.
I thought their defense was really good, which for D'Amico Ryan's team is what you're gonna expect. I'm happy that they lived up to the hype that it should have. I think Baltimore was very disappointing. It's a guy who had Lamar Jackson at quarterback in fantasy. Yeah, it wasn't great.
You were disappointed with that Baltimore team.
Yeah, what was how many interceptions and those turnovers in general did he have?
Let me just check that out. He had 1 pick and I think a fumble. Could it be?
I felt like they were turning the ball over a lot. Just wasn't very efficient. Zay Flowers was a positive for them. Zay Flowers looked like the clear one right now.
Yeah, that's true.
He had 9 receptions. And really Odell and Bateman were kind of both sharing the twos duty.
I mean, I kind of want to see more Bateman, but I get why they're easing him in last year towards ACL. Sorry, and he was out long term.
Was it an ACL?
I'm pretty sure it was an ACL. I know it was out long term. I know it was pretty early. It might have been somewhere down there. But another unfortunate thing for the Ravens. Marcus Peters is out. J.K. Dobbins out for the season.
Marlon Humphrey was out as well. You said Marcus Peters.
Oh, sorry, Marlon Humphrey. My God. I'm pulling a Scott Adams today. The thing with J.K. Dobbins, I actually feel bad for the guy. He has not been healthy, I think, one season.
Yeah, I feel bad for the kid. The last 3 years have been really rough for him.
Yeah, and hopefully next year comes back strong. Wishing nothing but the best for the guy. And
anyway, it was week 1 for him. We're expecting a much better showing in week 2. I think now Gus Edwards can have a much bigger role. I know Justice Hill had those 2 touchdowns, but I think
Gus the boss,
Gus is gonna have a majority of the carries for them.
You think it's gonna be a split or just Gus and gonna take over?
I think it's gonna be mostly Gus Edwards.
Yeah,
Justice Hill's definitely gonna be in there, but I think Gus Edwards is gonna be the main back there. I think he's gonna be a good pickup.
Yeah, I agree. Anyways, we're moving on to another Sunday afternoon game. The Browns absolutely demolishing the Bengals 24-3.
Yeah, that was a very disappointing game.
In what was one of Joe Burrow's worst performances of all time. Yeah. Another week 1 ball mass performance that come to expect with Joe Burrow. That's just a trend with him now.
Yeah. I think he probably wasn't fully healed, plus the rain wasn't a good combination.
Yeah.
Yeah, from everyone on that roster, the offensive line was very bad. Burrow was bad. The receivers were bad. It was just a bad day at the office for Cincy, and I think the Browns took advantage. Deshaun
Watson showed glimpses of his old self. To be fair to him, he didn't look too bad. Nick Chubb is an absolute stud, just most consistent running back I think ever.
You know what you're gonna get out of Nick Chubb.
And this Browns team just took advantage, like you said, of a rain game. It was in Cleveland, so home field advantage helped, and Cincy just struggled out here week 1. I don't see this being a trend for Cincy. I do see them bouncing back, but we shall see. They definitely want to bounce back strong next week, so we'll see if they can do that one.
I also love Myles Garrett's game. I found he was very good for.
Myles Garrett was pressuring a lot. That's true.
That big sack on I don't know if it was 3rd or 4th down, but I turned the ball over for got them the ball back. So.
Myles Garrett, that's why he's paid the big bucks, man. He's one of the better ones.
Let's move on to the next one. We got Jacksonville versus Indianapolis. Another quite entertaining game where we saw Anthony Richardson play his first game. The Jags look good, what we expected.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley was the alpha in that offense.
Yeah.
The only big surprise
reports.
was Christian Kirk was like barely out there. On the two wide receiver sets, it was Zay Jones and Calvin Ridley out there. Zay Jones was doing a lot more than I thought. So.
Zay Jones just continues to show us why he's a very serviceable wide receiver. And for whatever reason, he's a lot down there in Jacksonville. I'm so happy for the guy. I mean, coming out of Vegas, it wasn't too great for him. Rejuvenates his career in Jacksonville. That seems to be a trend with players going to Jacksonville. I mean, just look at Evan Ingram.
Happened with Kirk, even though like Kirk is not.
Christian Kirk 1 year, yeah, that's true though. Last year he was, I think, fifth best wide receiver, or like fifth in targets or something.
Could be.
He had some crazy stat line last year. It looked really good. But also another big surprise for me was Etienne's usage. Etienne actually got used a lot this game, and I was very surprised with that. I'm happy to see Etienne get used.
It was funny the passing, because last year they weren't using him much in the passing game.
Yeah.
No, it was nice to see him there. Bigsby obviously got some goal line work. He did get a touchdown in the game, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a worry on Etienne.
No, for sure. He did his stuff, and he looked really good out there. So, but on the Colts side of thing, I really was impressed with AR's performance. Anthony Richardson didn't look too bad at all.
Especially with the lack of weapons and how the run game was basically like a non-factor for the Colts.
I think he was the run game.
Yeah.
And now imagine adding JT to this lineup. He made Michael Pittman look good again, which is great. I love seeing that. Imagine him with JT in the backfield. Adds a whole other dimension to this team. And I think this offense can be actually pretty solid if JT were to come back.
I don't get why people were doubting Michael Pittman. Like, I get Anthony Richardson at quarterback, but was it really a downgrade from what they had last year?
No.
I don't think so. They had terrible play last year, and he was.
I don't think he could have got worse than Matty Ice.
Yeah, he's a talented wide receiver, so I don't know why people were being so low on him.
But yeah, they were keeping it close. Anthony Richardson went down towards the end of the game. I don't know if that's anything serious. I don't think it is. I think it was just a little cramps thing, and they pulled him just to be safe.
I also liked Trayvon Walker this game. Yeah, he was coming off like a pretty mediocre rookie season as a first overall pick, and I thought he looked pretty good in week 1.
I mean, he's a former number 1 overall pick. He's got to be good. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, let's move on to one of the more disappointing games of the week for me. Tampa Bay Buccaneers beating the Vikings 20-17, and
I'll let you have this one.
So I mean, going into this one, I was really uber confident, and then as the game came closer, I was like, you know what, Tampa Bay's defense is still good. It's going to be a lot closer than I think. I thought the Vikings were going to be able to edge this one, but when you turn over the ball 3 times in a football game, you're not winning. That's just a recipe for disaster. One very good surprise on my end was the defense actually didn't look too bad. They looked pretty solid. They were doing their thing. They held them to 10 points in the first half on like 8-9 possessions, which is solid. We held Baker Mayfield to 5 yards per attempt, which is really good. The guy didn't even throw for 200 yards. So obviously there were a few mishaps in that defense the rookies were playing in. A few matchups missed. Jay Ward with a very bad penalty at one point cost us a touchdown, I believe. But other than that, defense was solid. The offense was very lackluster. I don't know what happened, but KOC's play calling was horrible. Kirk Cousins was just indecisive with the football. Didn't look too great. Turned it over 3 times. Obviously one of them was Ed Ingram slapping it out of his hands. That was just that just happens to us all the time. But whatever, that was wild. And then the KJ Osborne pick where he threw it to KJ a little behind him, had it ripped out of his hands. You can make an argument for Kirk, but at the end of the day, he is your quarterback. He's got to make better decisions with the football. And I feel like he should have the responsibility now, especially at this point in his career, to audible out. So if he doesn't like a call, if he sees a look on the defense that he doesn't like, he should be able to audible out. And there's just no excuses for this offense to be this lackluster, especially when Justin Jefferson went for 150.
Especially that second half, he just disappears and doesn't get any sort of usage. I
don't understand why they were forcing the quick outs. Like, it was really weird. They were running this quick out offense, which I fucking hated. The run game didn't really get going. He was using too much Madison in the passing game, which is not really his role. I want to see more Ty Chandler. Ty Chandler looked good when he was out there. Jordan Addison, the rookie, looked really good. I have to give it to him. 4 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown. Really good stat line for the rookie. Hit a very nice grab with his end zone. Completely destroyed his route, and there is absolutely no excuses for this Vikings team to have lost this game. They beat themselves at the end of the day, and Got to move on to Philly. I'm happy it's a shortened week. Gives them less time to like doubt themselves and think about this game. Maybe that helps. I don't know. But if we play this against Philly, we're going to get killed.
Moving on to Tampa, though, I feel like they were really good on third down. I don't know if that was just me on in the first half. I feel like Vikings are having a hard time stopping them on third down. So that's one thing the Vikings might have to improve on defense.
That was the second half. The third downs were an issue. Yeah.
The second half, whatever.
No. There's just I feel like the defense was just tired at that point, and I can't even blame them. I mean, Kirk threw a pick. You had like 3 fun. You were always out on the field. It was wild. So many 3-and-outs for this offense is just inexcusable.
Especially with the weapons that they have with Addison, Hawkinson. Even Hawkinson, I feel like he wasn't really involved too much.
He had a decent game actually. You know what? Kirk Cousins threw for 350, which like he had a nice looking game. It just didn't.
The turnovers really ruined that.
Yeah, I mean Addison 4 for 61, Hawkinson 8 for 35, but Hawkinson was using the flats, so like he got a catch, 2 yards got tackled. Like it was so weird.
What do you think about Tampa though in that game? Because I don't even know what to think about them there. Feels like they just like walked into a win. I don't know.
So the thing with Tampa is Rachaad White is not a good running back. That's what I took away from this. Even in the passing game, I don't like him too much. Their offense is okay. Their O-line is okay. Their weapons are great, but their defense is legit. Like I have to admit that defense, especially that linebacking core with Devin White, is really, really good. Like absolutely all over the place. The cornerbacks are very, very solid. There really isn't an issue, and Vita Vea was causing us a lot of issues in the interior of that O-line. He was absolutely pressuring Kirk every single play. Ed Ingram looked awful. Maybe that's just because Vita Vea is one of the best nose tackles in the NFL, but defense in Tampa is legit.
That's probably how they're gonna get themselves winning games this year. So yeah, let's move on. What do we got next on the schedule?
Sorry. So next up we got the
Tennessee
best game of the week. The New Orleans Saints beating the Tennessee Titans 16-15.
That was hard watch. Man.
What do you feel?
I feel like one thing I was surprised though with Tennessee was Derrick Henry wasn't being used on third down at all. I don't think he saw one third down snap this week.
Which is wild.
That is very concerning for Derrick Henry owners and fans. His usage isn't going to be as high as it usually is.
Yeah.
And as for the Saints, I think Derek Carr was very disappointing. I know that stats looked like he had a pretty decent game, but I wasn't too impressed. He looked like he was running for his life all game and wasn't really... early on, he was looking for Michael Thomas a lot, and then later on, he was looking at Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. Rashid Shaheed, I was very happy with, had a good performance. I hope he can have that most of the season, but competing with 2 other pretty good receivers, it's going to be tough to replicate what he did this week, all season.
No, for sure. And another thing with the Saints, Jamal Williams just did not have a good game. He had 18 carries for 45 yards. That's just that's not great. But very defensive performance, like you said. The Titans' defense is actually really solid.
Yeah, Jeffrey Simmons up
He's
front
a beast.
was always very impressive.
He's a beast. Just pressuring the quarterback every play. And
Arden Key, too, was pretty good. I liked him. Aziz Al-Shair, I don't know how I'm not going to say, he had an amazing game because I'm not too sure, but hopefully he did.
I don't know, but this Titans' offense is very, very sad. Especially with Ryan Tannehill under center, and he threw 3 picks in this one, which was just awful.
There were some pretty bad picks as well.
Yeah, some just boneheaded decisions there, but
I like that Lattimore pick though on DeAndre Hopkins. That was a pretty nice one.
That was nice, yeah. But anyways, let's move on to
your
football game.
Well, it wasn't the most dominant because the Cowboys.
The Cowboys killed it.
It was one of the most dominant games of the week. The San Francisco 49ers defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers. And all I gotta say is I love that performance. I thought Brock Purdy absolutely silenced the doubters. Everyone saying, all I heard was Seahawks fans all off-season, saying how he's a one-hit wonder, he won't produce. What happened to their quarterback? What did he do this week? I didn't see him do. I think they got to worry about their own one-season wonder. Brock Purdy was in that pocket looking mobile, making plays. The offense was flowing. And this is the best I've seen this offense in a very, very long time.
No, this offense looked like, honestly, it was hitting on all cylinders.
Because under Jimmy Garoppolo, it never looked like this. This Brandon Ayuk as well, 8 catches on 21 pass attempts from Brock Purdy. So he caught all 8 of his targets. This was an all-around amazing performance. He was getting blocks on that McCaffrey touchdown, an amazing block. This was just an all-around amazing game for Brandon Ayuk. And I think it puts him up in that conversation with, if he can continue this all season, I think he's in that conversation with T. Higgins, Devonta Smith, and Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle as one of the best twos in the NFL.
I think he should have been there. I think he already should have been there.
Exactly, even me. But people weren't really giving him much of a look. I love BA. And on defense, I thought Drake Jackson looked really good with his 3 sacks. Bosa only played like 50% of the snaps, but he looked okay. Eric Armstead was putting a lot of pressure. Clinton Farrell, the new addition from the Raiders, looked pretty decent. Fred Warner is always going to be amazing like he is. Drew Greenlaw as well. I think Fred Warner should have had that pick though, that almost was. But
it was right in his eyes.
That's already. He played a great game. Charvarius Ward as well was very solid. Getting a pick on Kenny Pickett. To Sean Gibson, all the guys, Hufanga as well. I'm really excited for this team. And I can't go on without giving a mention to McCaffrey. 150 rushing yards. The Steelers had no answer. And it was a really good performance. I just think the Steelers weren't up to it. I think they were lacking physicality. You could see it from like right out of the gate. The Niners were ready to go and the Steelers weren't. And that's going to be one thing for the Steelers this season. When they're at home, they're going to have to be the most physical team on the field if they're going to want to win games because that's a big part of their identity. And I think the only really person that showed up on that whole roster was TJ Watt getting the 3 sacks. That's the only negative for us was, we replaced Michael McGlinchey at right tackle. And we got McVitz, and he got absolutely destroyed. Even though it was TJ Watt, so I'm going to give him a break. We'll see what happens next week against the Rams. But yeah, that was a bit worrying. But anyway, I'm pretty sure if McGlinchey would have been there, it would have been the same story because TJ Watt's one of the best edge rushers in the NFL.
Yeah, no, TJ had a really solid showing. I can't even lie, he looked really dominant. Hopefully he stays healthy all year.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, that's...
Actually, just to continue on the Steelers though, on the offense, I really was not impressed. They have the excuse they went against the best defense in the NFL. But yeah, Kenny Pickett, this whole thing with him that on preseason he looked good. I didn't see it. George Pickens, anonymous. I know he had 5 receptions, but that was like near the end of the game. They were kind
garbage time
stats. He was kind of anonymous. Deontay was alright. Fryermuth got the touchdown. And yeah, it was just Allen Robinson was actually not bad with 5 receptions. Sorry.
Resurrecting his career in Pittsburgh, fresh out of Chicago.
Even the run game was like an absolute zero. Besides, Najee Harris got like 1 decent rush on their touchdown drive, but besides that, it was kind of non-existent. I don't know. If I was a guy in fantasy that drafted Najee Harris in the 3rd round, which I was obviously not, I would be very
feel bad for you.
Yeah, I'd be very worried right now.
Feel bad for you, but no, that was just dominating performance by the Niners. All aspects of the football field.
We got pushed up now. We're tied favorites for the Super Bowl with the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Nice, man. Nice. But anyways, let's move on to our survivor pick, actually. The Washington Commanders beating the Cardinals 20-16. A lot more of a sweat than we thought. Cardinals with Nick Gannon as their head coach looked really, really... Like, they played hard. They played hard. They played very, very hard. They didn't look good. But they played very, very hard, and I don't know if it's just because Nick Gannon they had them ready for sure week 1. Commanders' offense, on the other hand, looked horrible. That offense was not moving the football whatsoever, and
Jahan Dotson.
Jahan Dotson is, I think, a bust.
No, you're not a bust. It's more just on my bet. I needed 4 more yards.
I don't know. Sam Howell didn't impress me too much. You played one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and you couldn't really get much going. Brian Robinson even just, other than that 1 touchdown, didn't do too much.
Gibson as well, not much of an impact.
Not much of an impact. Henry McLaurin, not much of an impact. And Commanders' defense was solid, but then again, you're playing one of the worst offenses in the NFL, so we'll see how they do next up. But wasn't too impressed with the Commanders, if I'm being honest.
Their offense was well coordinated, though, because you look at the players that they have on the offense. They have Hollywood, they have... actually, Hollywood even play. I don't think
I don't know. Let me check that real quick.
I feel like he was. I don't know. Maybe he did play. Whatever. Even if he did play, I know Rondell Moore had a nice game. He was getting a lot of dump balls. I feel like they helped out. They know their quarterback and Josh Dobbs wasn't like too strong.
Yeah, Marquise Brown played.
Okay, he did play. I wasn't sure. But yeah, they know that wasn't a strong point with a quarterback, and think they played to his strengths. They just played a lot of dump offs, a lot of screens, and they made their playmakers go to work. Because as bad as their roster is, they have a lot of playmakers on it. So.
That's true.
Guys that are good after the catch. So I think they did their best. They're gonna play the Bears. No, they're playing not a great team next week. Oh, they're playing the Giants next week, I think. So with the way the Giants looked in week 1, maybe the Cardinals could sneak out a win.
We'll get into that in our previews for week 2. But let's move on to an absolutely demolishing performance by the Packers. 38-20 over the Bears, and I told you Fields isn't a running quarterback.
Yeah, it was. The Bears were expecting a much better, much improved team this year, and it looks like it's back to the same old of them. Justin Fields. It was kind of a mix of the offensive line being terrible and him not being great. It was just not great. It was not a good performance at all. DJ Moore was anonymous. Chase Claypool, this guy got traded for the 32nd overall pick, and he's basically a wide receiver 4. This guy is horrible.
He's a wide receiver 5. I'd even put him behind Cole Kmet.
Like, you saw him, he couldn't even be asked to block during the game. The guy was jogging. He just looks uninterested. I don't know what's up with him.
He doesn't look like he wants to be there, that's for sure. But how do you feel about on the other side, Jordan Love?
He looked very impressive. I'm very impressed with him. Why, you don't think so?
Honestly, in my opinion, he played one of the worst defenses in the NFL. He did what he had to do.
You gotta play what's in front of you. I
hear you.
I thought he was good, especially with the receiving core. He had Romeo Doubs, Salamari, Toure.
Yeah, but Aaron Jones carried him, which is what we want from Aaron Jones, fantasy users.
Well, he used what he had. I thought Jordan Love was he looked solid. He looked comfortable.
He looked comfortable. He looked solid. Like I said, I want to see him against a better defense. I don't think the Bears are going to be great this year. I think they're going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL yet again. So we'll see what Jordan Love can do against a better offense. But his defense, the Green Bay Packers defense, is solid.
It's a good defense.
Obviously, they played a worse offense, so we'll see how they do against a better one. But either way, they were solid. Just, and all in all, smashing. I saw this coming. I didn't think the Bears were going to be great.
I was disappointed, though, with Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. They're 2 big linebacker signings, and they were
absolutely not
good.
there.
They were a no-show in this game. And the Bears are going to really need them to be better. It's just now, I think they're going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. The Bears. I think they're going to have one of the worst records. What would they do with their pick? Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be...
I think they're going after a quarterback.
That's what I think, too, but their fan base. I was listening, actually, I was in a Twitter Spaces yesterday with the Bears fans.
What did the Bears think?
They're still in on Justin Fields. I'm surprised the fan base hasn't turned on him just yet. We'll see how long it lasts, but I think his time is really ticking there, and I think if they're one of the worst teams again, it's really going to be, you got to look at Justin Fields because he's been getting no heat just because he puts up fantasy points. So it looks good on the stat sheet.
Yeah.
Then you look at, okay, I won't get into Trey Lance. But,
yeah. Wanted to do it, but...
Yeah, I forgot it. We're going to be here too long. What's next?
I got the Raiders and Broncos barely edging this one out, 17-16.
This was a game that, before it, I wasn't really too interested in it. It started off really good, then it kind of died out, but there was quite a bit of things I took from this game.
What'd you take from this one, Tom?
I thought Pat Surtain really confirmed to me that he is the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
I know Devontae Adams still had his 5 receptions, but during the game you couldn't even tell. He kept him quiet during the whole game. And after you seeing Sauce Gardner's performance yesterday, that was a big positive for Surtain. He looked really good and had the straps on Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
As well, Jimmy Garoppolo looked like a really nice fit with Josh McDaniel. He looked a lot more mobile than I ever seen him with the Niners. He was moving. I never seen him move like that, I gotta say. Maybe because of the injury at his wrist, or I don't know what, but he looked very mobile.
He looked comfortable.
That's what I mean. He looked comfortable in the offense. As well, Jacoby Myers, hopefully he'll be healthy and good to go for the next weeks. I know he's in concussion protocol right now after that big hit he took. He was very good. He looked like Jimmy Garoppolo's favorite target, 2 touchdowns. I'm not sure how many receptions he had, but he had quite a few.
I think 80-something yards on 8-9 grabs. It was a really good day for him.
Really good performance from him. And I like the Raiders all in all. And then moving on to the Broncos, I thought it was a really nice first drive. Russell Wilson looked back to his best, but what we know Russell Wilson to be good at is testing the deep ball, being really good deep, and I think he just Like it was an efficient game for him, but it was a lot of just short, medium stuff. And like when you're like that, how many completions do you have? I think
like over 20.
Or whatever. When you have that many like passing attempts, you're expecting at least 200 yards, and he only had like 100 something. So it was a lot of
27 completions for 177 and 2 touchdowns.
That's pretty like
pretty low.
No, it's a good efficiency, but it's pretty poor in terms of yardage. So yeah, it was didn't test the deep ball at all, and I think he just needs to gain his confidence back. Hopefully, he can with Sean Payton. And, I think on their offense as well, Javonte Williams, it was nice to see him back.
Looked like the clear bell cow in that offense, in my opinion.
I found later on in the game, P. Ryan got a bit more work. But yeah, early on, it was a lot of Javonte. And we had a receiving core set and looked like he was going to be the one, no surprise.
Yeah.
And, there was a lot of like people I didn't even know who they were getting a lot of targets for them. And lastly, one thing I forgot was also Josh Jacobs. He got 19 carries and it was
48 yards or something.
Yeah, he was going absolutely nowhere. So
that Broncos defense had him locked up all game. But yeah, no, a lot of things to take away from both sides of the field. Like I think you pretty much covered everything. I'm excited to see the Raiders going forward. I want to see if Jimmy G is actually legit or like if it's just a one-game wonder. I don't know.
I'm impressed.
I was impressed by his performance. But anyways, let's move on to the highest scoring game of the week. Dolphins edging the Chargers 36-34 and what was an absolute phenomenal game.
This was probably the game of the week.
This was the game of the week. Tua looked good. Tyreek looked good. Waddle looked good. Everyone on this offense was doing something. Even Mostert looked good.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks like the RB1 on this team. But it is a committee, so don't trust it. Chargers side of thing, Herbert just looked great. Keenan Allen got some work in. Donald Parham, very surprising player, was the tight end 1 over Gerald Everett. I don't know if it was just because of the mismatch or what. But
that's what I think it was. I think it was more just for this size.
The size, yeah. And then also Austin Eckler had a very, very, very strong performance, both in the passing and rushing game. Looks like the Chargers are moving to more of a run-heavy scheme. I don't know if that was just the matchup, but we'll see how it goes. Either way, both these teams look really good. One takeaway I have from both these guys is there's absolutely no defense on both sides of the football.
I'm kind of disappointed with the Chargers though on that because they have a lot of big names. They have the Khalil Mack, they have the J.C. Jackson, they have Eric Kendricks. Whatever. These are all big, older names. You'd expect better from them on that side of the ball, and it's just like they were very poor. They do not help that offense out at all.
No, I mean your offense put up 30 plus. You should be winning this game. The defense just got to get one stop, and the Dolphins did it late, which gave them the win. And the Chargers just weren't able to keep up. I guess Tyreek Hill went absolutely crazy.
And again, another week one, like huge performance from Tua, Tyreek. So.
We'll see if they keep this up. I don't know who they play next week. That should be an interesting matchup. Maybe they play better defense. I kind of want to see them go up against one of those elite defenses just to see how legit is this offense. But after this week one performance, this offense is legit. I don't think any defense is going to be able to really nullify them. Maybe they'll be able to contain them, but.
You think Tyreek can go for 2,000 yards?
If he plays like he did this week consistently, and if Tua's healthy, maybe, because I know Tua loves him. And
Who wouldn't?
He's not the best route runner, but he's got some speed, and he's got some serious speed.
I feel bad for the corners I'll have to go up against them.
Yeah, no. Anyways, let's move on to a very surprising matchup, in my opinion, was the Philadelphia Eagles beating the Patriots 25-20. This Eagles offense did not look great.
No, the Patriots deserved better. I think the Patriots should have won this game, honestly.
Mac Jones was legit.
They were a better team, in my opinion. Especially with Mac Jones, a guy who I'm not really a fan of. I thought he was really good. He impressed me.
I think he had something like 300 yards against this defense, which is arguably one of the better ones in the NFL, according to many. So,
even with absolutely no options on offense, he was able to get 300.
Was it Keishon Butte as his wide receiver 1?
And Juju, he didn't have
Tyquan,
the boy Devontae Parker. Ramondre wasn't utilized as much as I would have wanted though. I think he still ended up getting like 5 catches and I don't know how many rushing yards. He had like 50 maybe.
I can go check that.
It was an okay game for Ramondre.
I don't know why they just stuck with Zeke in certain areas. It was just like, what? Like Zeke had 7 carries, Ramondre had 12 for 25.
Oh, it was only 20. Damn.
Yeah, I know. Zeke had 5 catches, which I did not understand that one. Ramondre had 6 for 64. He got the work on the air, but got to utilize Ramondre in the passing game more than Zeke. I'm sorry. I don't know why Zeke was lining up a receiver in some sets. It was just really weird.
It just looks off to him.
It just looks weird. He's not a receiver, and I mean,
maybe
whatever.
when in his rookie year in college when he got drafted, he was like more of a he could catch passes, but like now at the age, I don't know.
Over the years, he's definitely like lost a step, and you saw it, and whatever. I mean, hey, you know what? Kept it close, so maybe it works. Who knows?
It's gonna see now the Eagles. Like we saw the spread on this game was what was it, 3.5?
Yeah, 3.5.
So we were surprised on that. We actually said in our preview that I felt like a trap game. So maybe that's what it was for the Eagles. They'll bounce back, look like themselves again. But if I was an Eagles fan,
They don't.
I'd be very concerned. The only positive for them really that I found was Jalen Carter looked very good. He was putting a lot of pressure on Mac Jones and good on Mac Jones because he was able to deal with it. But Jalen Carter is going to be an absolute problem
In the ring.
all offensive lines this year.
Yeah, I know. I saw that James Bradbury actually is in concussion protocol and he's ruled out for Thursday. And there was also someone else on that D-line that's ruled out. I can't remember off the top of my head, but Eagles are dealing with a little injury situation right now, so
It's going to be an opportunity for you guys to pounce.
we'll get into that later. But anyways, moving on. We got the Rams and the Rams smashing the Seahawks 30-13.
This I was very surprised with.
What'd you take away from this one?
That Seattle is a fake team. They're going nowhere. How do you let Puka Nakua get 10 targets for like 100-something yards?
10 for 119, baby. You got the Cooper Cup treatment.
Puka Nakua. Tyler Higbee, like that. Kyron Williams got 2 touchdowns. Absolutely. Like Seattle, they're playing the Lions next week. They're going to be in problems if they play like this. That offense was not doing much. DK Metcalf looked decent early on, but that was about it. Tyler Lockett I know he got injured, but he was really non-existent. JSN was just got a few targets, not much though. Yeah, their offense was very disappointing, and I'm happy with that.
I know you are.
I think this division is going to be very one-sided for us. I don't think after seeing this performance, if this keeps up,
you're not worried about them Seahawks.
I'm pretty sure none of these guys are making the playoffs. So our division looks terrible right now.
Yeah, no. The only positive I took from this Seattle thing was Kenneth Walker's the clear RB1, at least in this game. He had 12 carries for 64.
I still think it's early though, because Kenneth Walker's gonna have those he'll have the first, second down work, and then I think Charbonnet's gonna have the third down. Goal line. We saw Charbonnet at the goal line quite a bit. So.
That is also true, but the other negative from the Rams side of things, Cam Akers looked awful. 22 carries for 29 yards.
Yeah, you got a touch. 22 carries for 29. I didn't realize that.
Average 1.32 yards a carry.
It felt like he wasn't even on the field that often. It felt like
because he got stopped every time he went out.
I felt like Kyron Williams was out there quite a bit.
Kyron Williams had 15 respectively, so they both played, and I mean Matthew Stafford threw for 38, so this offense was actually rolling.
Stafford was a lot better than I expected, and I think this shows how Sean McVay is really
one of those elites.
Yeah, elite head coach. I was able to just put anything around him, and he could draw up some stuff and get you around. So.
But yeah, no, Rams look good here against the Seahawks, who people say had one of the better defenses in the NFL, and
yeah, Geno's gonna be a legit question though, because
gotta pay attention to that one.
He's been not a great quarterback his whole career. Last year he had this year where he was sensational, Pro Bowler, sorry. And week 1 didn't look too great. This is karma for the Seahawks fans. They love to talk about it, the Niners quarterback player, but they weren't worried about the Rams. So, yeah.
Anyways, let's move on to the Sunday nighter, one of the best games of the week. Dallas Cowboys stomping
this was
the New York Giants 40 to a fat donut. That's right, Giants put up 0.
This was the worst primetime game by far. I think it will be the worst primetime game we get all season. I don't know if it can get worse.
Yeah, it was an ugly, ugly game. Obviously, there was rain. Maybe that's what caused it, but still. Giants drive down the field to start. Thought they were scoring a touchdown. Ended up settling for 3. Nope. Blocked the kick for 6. And then it just went downhill after that. I mean, Daniel Jones went 15 for 28, 104 and 2 picks. Not a great game. They brought Tyrod Taylor in for the last drive of the
Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, I think that was really that first drive was the turning point of the game. Like the Giants looked good on that football. They looked good. They didn't throw one pass on that first drive and they ended up on like the 20-yard line. So they looked the rushing offense looked good. They were rolling pretty decent, and all the momentum just went out of the stadium after that one. It all flipped over to the Cowboys side, and yeah, once those two defensive touchdowns happened, well, with special teams then. Once those two touchdowns happened, I think the game was over. The Giants' confidence was just shot. Yeah, it was nice to see Darren Waller. Darren Waller looked all right, though. I think he was the only positive for.
Yeah, he didn't look horrible. He looked okay, and I mean, just maybe it is a rain thing. Maybe it was just the rain was really screwing them up, but this was an ugly, ugly game.
I think now this game against the Cardinals is gonna tell a lot. Because if they can't beat the Cardinals, I think it's gonna be a long season for the Giants. At least that's one prediction I got right. Well, not yet there, but
I mean, look,
because the Giants, I think it might have been a fluke year last year.
I mean, look, Michael Parsons is a stud. You came up against him. He was just in there every single play. O-line wasn't too great. Daniel Jones wasn't able to get it rolling. Dayball didn't scheme properly. I don't know if this team was just not ready to play in the rain or what, but they looked awful. And like you said, ever since that first field goal block, they weren't able to recover, and it showed.
That's one thing, though. The Cowboys' defensive line, it's not really a surprise, but they were very, very good. They had Daniel Jones running for his life all game. That was a very good performance from them. Michael Parsons is always, we know him, he's always going to put pressure on an offense. And even DeMarcus Lawrence looked very good. I'm impressed with Dallas' defense. They're definitely one of the top 3 defenses in the NFL right now.
The one question mark I have with Dallas is Dak Prescott. He went 13 for 24, 143, nothing.
They didn't have to throw the ball much.
He didn't have to throw the ball much. That offense didn't look too great behind, other than Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard looked like legit, but the receiving game wasn't too solid. Maybe it was, like I said, the rain thing, but something to just keep an eye on Dallas' offense. And I just want to see what they do when their defense is not carrying.
Yeah, I know, but I think the game script really was in favor of the passing offense. So I like Brandon Cooks though. Brandon Cooks on the limited work he got, I thought looked pretty good. And I'd expect him to just be like a consistent 1,000-yard receiver this year, like he usually is.
Yeah.
Last up, we have that amazing game we saw yesterday. Well, amazing.
It was very entertaining, to say the least.
Well, the middle of it was very boring. I'm not gonna lie.
The ending was wild.
The ending was amazing. We
But,
had the New York Jets beating the Bills in overtime, 22-16, with a very questionable tripping call that was not called. The referees there in overtime. But either way, the Bills did not deserve to win that game. They were very disappointing. Zach Wilson comes into the game for Aaron Rodgers, who goes down after 4 plays. Very sad for Jets fans, as they've been waiting all off-season building this up, and he's out for the season after 4 plays. Feel for Rodgers. Hopefully it wasn't his last game in the NFL. It will be sad to see one of the greats of all time go out like this. But hopefully he gets better and we can see him again soon.
Hopefully they just have to do a repair job and it's like a surgery out a few weeks. But if it's a full tear,
that's tough for him, especially at the age that he's at.
Yeah, it's not great.
Is it going to be worth to come back? I don't know. Yeah, let's move on to the Bills though. The Bills, very disappointing to see. Josh Allen, we knew we had these pick problems. It was mostly in the red zone last year, but this year, I don't know. The first 2 interceptions, he's going that deep downfield, but they were nowhere near the receiver.
Yeah.
First one I think was to Deontay Hardy, nowhere near him. That was Jordan Whitehead had his number all night long, and he was my MVP pick. I'm not feeling too confident about that. Josh is gonna have to wake up because Stephon Diggs was very good. He was really the only guy on offense
that was playing.
Yeah. Gabe Davis was okay. Kincaid, Dawson Knox, they were just there. I really like James Cook. We saw it in the preseason. He had a huge snap share. He was playing 75% of the snaps in preseason, and it carried over to the regular season. He was a big positive for them. I think they found their RB1 now, which they've been looking for a while. I like James Cook there.
Clear-cut RB1. I mean, Latavius Murray had 2 carries, whereas James Cook had 12. So, I mean, and in the passing work as well, Latavius had 1 catch, James Cook had 4. So, He's their one.
Mm-hmm.
Thing with Josh is this serious? We gotta pay attention to Josh Allen now. Like this turnover problem has been legit. Like last year it was getting bad, but
Yesterday was really bad.
But it was controllable. Yesterday was really, really bad. And I know towards the end of the season it was really like a big question mark around him with the picks. But yesterday was horrible. Obviously, he played the Jets defense. That D-line is very, very good. So maybe it was the pressure. He was feeling it all game, and he just made some dumb decisions with the football. Could also be that. But he also came out and said, listen, this game's totally on me, which good on him for doing that because it was. There's just no going around it. But this Jets offense, oh my God.
You feel for him.
Without Aaron Rodgers, with Zach Wilson, and okay, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers comes into the drive. First drive of the game.
It's you can't judge him yet.
Listen,
don't.
This is what I saw. This is what I saw.
He played 4 snaps on his first time playing with his team.
Out of his 4 snaps, he was not moving in the pocket. I don't know if that was just because he didn't know the offense or what, but he had cement in his legs. He was not moving. He was stiff. Got sacked on one play. Just no completions. Look, maybe it's a new offense and new environment for him. He wasn't feeling great, but I don't know.
I don't think it really matters now.
I don't think it really matters either. If I want to see what he does honestly in this offense. They were hyping it up so much. I hope he's not out for the year, but
we saw Robert Saleh after a game saying that they're gonna stick with if Rodgers is to be out long term, that Zach Wilson's gonna be the guy. I don't know how much I believe that. I hope that's not going to be the case because it's going to be another wash year for the Jets because it's sad to see them waste this absolutely elite defense.
Yeah.
Trash offense. Like, yet again, that defense just keeps them in the game. It looks exactly like a carbon copy of a game from last season for the Jets. It's just the defense carries them all game and the offense just can't move the ball. And even Garrett Wilson, look, that catch was amazing.
A one end zone grab, yeah, that was really nice.
But it was just a lot of dump offs. And Breece Hall was really good. That I'm happy to see. Happy to see him back on the field. He looked very explosive and looked like the only guy on that offense that could really just make a play and get them a big play.
I mean, he had 10 carries for 127. That's just whenever he was on the field, this guy was making plays. Obviously, they used up a lot of Dalvin, but Dalvin lost a step. It looks like 13 for 33. It wasn't too great.
No, Michael Carter. I was surprised that he actually got some.
Yeah, he got some work in the passing game, I believe. Yeah, 2 for 12. Breece Hall, one screen play for 20 yards. That was wild. That was nice to see. But yeah, no, this offense is a serious question mark.
What do you think they should go for though if they do go for a quarterback?
I don't know if they. I don't know. Jacoby Brissett was your pick.
Exactly. I think he was good with Cleveland last year. Especially this team, all they need is like half decent quarterback play, and I think Jacoby Brissett can easily give you that.
Yeah.
So I think if they can get a guy like that, I heard a lot of Jameis Winston as well. I feel like that would be not bad because we know that Jameis Winston isn't scary. He won't play like Zach Wilson that he's just going to be throwing little dump offs and whatever.
They'll test the deep ball. That's
why. So Jameis Winston's not scared to test the deep ball and play aggressively, and especially with the defense that they have, you can kind of take those risks. So I think Jameis Winston as well will be a decent option. I don't know if they want their boy Sam Darnold back. Well, I think Trey Lance also would have been a good option if he didn't get traded yet, but that's probably off the table right now.
I know some people were saying Kirk Cousins, but I don't see that.
There's no way that they're going to get rid of him. If this was in the off season, maybe.
Yeah, I don't see it happening right now.
Right now, that's not going to happen. I don't think that's a real possibility. Because besides that, I don't know who. Even Brissett, I don't know if they would even trade him, Washington, because Sam Howell didn't look too great. Maybe they're going to want to bring Howell in case it gets really bad. So I think Jameis Winston's probably the best option. Andy Dalton as well.
Winston. Is he still a free agent?
No, he's with the Saints. He's a Saints backup right now.
Let's see who's a free agent as we speak in the quarterback realm. But no, I think Jameis is probably. I don't know.
I would like Jameis Winston's going to get this team to the playoffs.
What about Carson Wentz?
Hell no. Carson Wentz, I've seen enough.
What you bring in Matt Ryan out of retirement?
No, I've seen enough of him. I don't know how he's not. He's not technically retired, I don't think.
I don't think he announced it yet, but I'm pretty sure he.
Yeah, the free agents there's not much. I think they're gonna have to trade for a backup.
Yeah, which.
Brissett. Tyrod Taylor, Andy Dalton.
Kirk Cousins. Case Keenum from Buffalo, maybe. Maybe.
I don't think he's up to it to start anymore. Yeah, I think Brissett or Winston would be the best options for him.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Do we want to give our player of the week?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
I think for me, it's gonna definitely be Tyreek Hill. He put off an excellent performance, like we went over earlier. 240 yards, 212. Absolutely amazing, and yeah, he's my player of the week.
Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna have to agree with you there. I think Tyreek Hill. For me, it's between Tyreek Hill and honestly Austin Eckler.
No, Brandon Ayuk. I was hoping.
Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, he would probably crack my top 3, maybe. I just have to double check everything, but Austin Eckler had a very, very solid performance. 16 carries for 117 on the ground and then 447 in the air. Basically 160 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns, but Tyreek just went absolutely nuts. No one was able to stop this man, so I got to give it to Tyreek.
I'm also going to give a mention on the defensive side. I'll give it to Tyson Campbell from the Jacksonville Jaguars. He had an interception. He had a strip sack on stripped the ball from Deion Jackson as well, and they recovered it. So Tyson Campbell had an underrated game at corner for Jacksonville.
Yeah, no, I like that one a lot. But who would you say is your biggest flop of the week?
Flop of the week?
I have 3 of them in mind.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. I feel like everyone's going to say the Giants, an easy one to say. I'm going to go to Seattle Seahawks. They shit the bed.
Yeah, they really did.
They laid an egg in that game, I think. Against the Lions, they're going to have to really come back because I was not impressed. Especially that defense, too. Like with Tariq Woolen, you expect a bit more. And Bobby Wagner coming back, it was not impressive at all.
No, for sure. I got 3 of mine, like I said. I got the Bengals, I got the Giants, and I got the Bills.
Yeah, the Bengals are really good.
I think I'm going to have to go with the biggest flop of the week being the Buffalo Bills on Monday night because they had that game. They had that game, and then the team, or the offense just gave it away.
Even the defense for Buffalo, I was actually impressed with them too. Without Von Miller, Greg Russo looked really good.
He was getting the pressure in.
Yeah, Russo was very good. And yeah, Matt Milano, he had a pretty good, decent plays. So.
Yeah, no, for me, it's got to be the Bills. There was no reason to lose that game. Aaron Rodgers was out. Zach Wilson comes in. It looks absolutely horrible.
I just can't believe how the Jets defense, man, they just always do it.
Robert Saleh is a great head coach. But
yeah, even with Houston, with DeMeco Ryans too. I don't know if we mentioned their defense, but
yeah, we talked about it a little earlier. DeMeco looks he made that defense look very confident.
Yeah, just you're talking about Saleh, so I need to go another 49ers forward DCs.
Of course, don't worry about it. But yeah, anyways, I think that's gonna wrap up our week 1 recap. We're gonna just do a quick little shout out for Thursday night. Who do you got? Vikings, Eagles.
Do you know what the line is? Because this is going to be on our...
Let me just check that. Sorry, everyone.
Actually, one thing we did forget to update you guys on the week 1 results for our predictions.
Okay, yeah.
We ended up tying. So, we both got 8 out of the 15 right. So for week 1, it's going to be a tie. Moving on to week 2, we'll see who can... If someone can take the lead, if we're going to tie again. So... For now, the record's going to be 1 tie here. And so, what's the odds here?
I don't know. Bet365, the Eagles are favored by 7. I think it's 7.
At 7? Well, if it's at 7, I'm going to take the Vikings. I think the Vikings could keep this at a 1-score game. If the Eagles would have came out more impressive in week 1, maybe I could have leaned with the Eagles. But the Eagles weren't as much as the Vikings weren't great. The Eagles weren't either. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, 7.5. Holy shit! It opened at 7.5. Now it's down to 7.
And especially the way that the Eagles' offense the Vikings' defense was really good against Tampa. I think that they're gonna need that defense to perform.
Yeah, I think we are. I think if the Vikings were to win this one. Okay, look, I can't go against my team. I gotta take the Vikings.
I'm gonna take them also, but I don't think they're gonna win the game.
But I think they're gonna win the game.
I think they're gonna cover.
I think they're winning, but no. If the Vikings are to win this game, my honest opinion is you gotta just your offense needs to be there because your defense can do so much for you guys, and if your offense just plays like it did in week 1, you're going to get absolutely demolished. Offense needs to show up, show out, show some guts. I mean, last year, same script here. Week 2, get absolutely embarrassed by Philly. So now week 2, same shit a year later. Show some guts. Show them why you're considered one of the top teams in the NFL. Put the league on notice. Put this offense really on the map. Kirk Cousins needs the ball out, play very, very good. He needs to be comfortable. Justin Jefferson, newest addition, needs to be elite, and Jordan Addison's going to get the work done. But defense, I'm not worried about it. Brian Flores had them ready for week 1. He's going to have them ready for week 2. I don't think they're going to get the same performance in, but if they're decent, if they're able to get the Philadelphia Eagles off the field a few times, it's a win. Your offense needs to show up. This game is going to be, I think, a shootout. And that's the only way the Vikings are going to win this one, is if this game is a shootout. And the Vikings
if both offenses look like they did last week, I don't know about that.
I hear you.
Like last season, I would have said, yeah. But right now, early on in the season, both teams not looking too great. Maybe it won't be. It should be. When you look at both teams on paper, both offenses on paper, it should be.
The Vikings will win this one. It needs to be a shootout. The defense needs to get a few crucial stops, and that's how they do it.
Unfortunately, I do think they're going to lose the game.
It's fine. I understand.
Especially on the.
I understand.
Lincoln Financial is a tough place to go.
It's okay. Vikings Eagles Thursday night. Let us know what you guys think. But anyways, thanks for watching the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel.
We'll have the preview out in a few days, so don't miss that.
Yeah, don't forget to watch that one. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.